What is up, guys? It's InfoBroad back again with another food review, and it's something a little bit different again. I don't know if you guys know already, but I do prefer to eat these kind of foods on Twitch. I think it's nice to see your reactions live with mine and we can interact with each other. So in case you didn't do it yet, make sure to follow me on Twitch and make sure you are there when we are going to eat this bad boy, because this bad boy is supposed to kill me. It's made out of ghost peppers, but for today's episode we are going to eat this ramen. Now, for the people who don't know, this ramen is actually super tasty. I had this one before. I think it was amazing. The broth is fabulous, like literally that's how I would call it, fabulous. And it's something that is just so much nicer than, I mean, I like spicy, don't get me wrong, but when it comes to something that's very neutral, this one is full of flavor, full of density, and it just tastes really good. Also, it's not directly from a cup, so we have to cook it. We already have a pan ready in the background there, and we're gonna prepare everything together right now. Now, for the people who don't know, there is something that I learned when cooking ramen over the last years. I'm basically more addicted to it since this year. But one thing I noticed is don't add too much water because you can always ruin it. I always try to add a little less, and then if I have to, I can always add a little bit more water to it to basically settle down the taste in case it's a little bit too intense for you. Or even for spicy noodles, you can always add water to it, but trying to remove it after you already add the flavoring and everything is a little tough. So don't add too much water. Try to keep it a little bit less than what you think is right, and then you can always add more. So while this is gonna boil, let's have a look what's actually in the package here. Actually, it's super nice that it comes in a little tray. I think that's something that more people should do, because there's nothing more annoying than you open this up and all the pieces fly everywhere. This is a small little additional thing. Again, convenience, but it's good. So underneath the ramen itself, we have two flavors. This is gonna be the sauce that you add in the water. It's super tasty. I think it's fabulous again as a taste. And here we have some, I think it's black bean paste. I'm not really sure. If someone can read that out for me. Let's just put it all in the water once the water is done, and yeah, eat. So the water is currently on the boil. It's slowly getting there, but I want to give one more tip. I don't know if you guys do this, but for any ramen where you have basically a liquid base for in the water, I prefer to add this prior to all my soups. Basically because when you add the ramen to it afterward, the ramen absorbs the taste, and I think it's just a little bit more tastier rather than adding this at the very end. And I've seen people do both, but from what I've heard and what has been told to me, add this before, because then it's only going to get taste better. Also, for the guys who are very interested in it, I basically have a new wireless microphone. Oh, it's a little bit awkward here now. I have a new wireless microphone, which I think is just fabulous. I hope it doesn't ruin the sound too much. From what I've heard, it is really good. Like, it really works and makes sense. And I think it is just a fantastic product that I bought, especially making videos like this. I don't have wires anywhere. I can just freehand this entire camera without any issues. And I think it is something that I always wanted, and I'm happy I finally got it. So I would say let's add this to the boiling water already, so we can get the water flavored up a little bit, and then we will add the ramen afterwards. Look at all that goodness, like literally. It changes the entire water color, but it's so good just. Like, the taste from this particular taste is really good. Like, I'm really a big fan of it. Lastly, we do have a bit of a paste still that's there. I would like to add this at the end, because I've noticed with pastes, you can be either very lucky or you can be very unlucky, and then it gets clobbered up. But with pastes, I like to add them at the end. I know you guys cannot smell this at the moment, but this really smells like soya. It smells very nice and salty. It has a nice flavor to it. And I don't know why, but it keeps over boiling. I'm just gonna put down the temperature a little bit so it can just slowly cook together rather than just rushing it super quick. Super, super nice smell. Like I say, this one smells fantastic and it tastes fantastic. So now we let this cook for like what, 4 minutes or so, maybe even 3 minutes. Depends how hot the water is. It has been boiling already for a little bit of time. I think it's gonna be super tasty. Once this is all done, let it just cook for a bit, and I'll be back when we eat. So the noodle is finally done, and I just want to say one thing. It really smells good. Like, it smells like the first time I had it. Super tasty, super good. And all I can say is that I wish there were more noodles like this, a little bit not spicy, but a little bit more based on the taste of the soup, because this is really just delicious. Yeah, it's a little bit oil based, but for that you get a really, really good lunch basically. It's a really delicious food. So for the start, let's just try eat the broth itself before, because like I say, that is really the highlight of it. I just want to say what I kind of taste. Like, I'm not sure if this is black bean paste or not. that is what I can only see from the packaging. I mean, garlic, black bean. I've had this before as well in Japan and they said this was black bean, but I don't remember the taste what I had. So I think it is that. Like the soup and the taste is just spot on. It is just so tasty. You taste a bit of soya, you taste a bit of salt. Like I say, I think it is the black bean or some sort of bean, a bit of garlic. It is really tasty. Let's try out the ramen itself with our favorite chopsticks. I mean, just look at all of this. This just looks like the golden hair from a fairy tale. It just, let's just go and dive in. Wow, that's warm. The real downside of eating ramen out of a pot is that you're taking it off from a really high temperature, where if you compare it to a cup noodle will cool down over time, while this just stays hot from the moment you take it off. So you kind of have to, yeah, take your time with it. Let's just go dive in. Yeah, it is good. I think what I did last time when I had this, I added beef to it. I added a bit of fresh spring onions to it, an egg. I threw it all in there just to fluff it up a bit. But even like that pure, it's a really good meal. Just like I say, this soup is just, sorry, the broth itself is just super delicious. But it just misses a bit of meat, a little bit of extra oomph to it, which you have to add by yourself. But those are small things that you can add. But really, the noodles are great. The soup is fantastic. This is really one of my favorite foods that I've eaten. Let me just show it again, because it is really that good. By the way, I just noticed on the back they actually put an instruction on there how to cook it. Like I say, I like to add the sauce a little bit beforehand, so the water basically becomes the sauce and the broth, so that when you soak in all the water when you cook the noodles are going to taste a little bit tastier. And that is something I learned, but I kept the second thing at the end because it is oil. Why not? I followed that instruction. This is also something I learned when working at a star restaurant back in the days when I had to work on the side for an internship. And what they said is, if you cook pasta, the best trick is that after you cook pasta, don't just add sauce to it, let it cook into its sauce a little bit, and it just picks it up to a certain point. The garlic flavor, all the additional flavors, and these are just small tips that I took with since then, and I think it is a very good tip. Noodles itself are a little bit brown because they soak up all that brown water. So yeah guys, I have just finished my ramen, and if I have to rate this ramen in particular, without adding anything, I'm gonna give this particular ramen a 3 out of 5. It's a very, very good base to start with, but it just misses that extra flavor, those vegetables, a little bit more crunch to it that you can add yourself. But once you do this yourself and add your own meat, your own vegetables, your little extras, maybe cracking an egg, it's gonna be next level. This one is really my favorite because it has a little hint of spice, a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. You can taste a bit of garlic. It just has a very nice natural taste to it, which I can only use as a beautiful base to cook a beautiful dish out of it. So this is a very good canvas to start with. And like I say, if you haven't yet, try out this ramen. It's really, really good. So yeah guys, as you can see, this is just a small little extra food series that I like doing. I like exploring Asian culture. I like exploring their food, especially. When I went to Japan, when I went to Korea, I love trying foods. I need to try Korean foods a little bit more as well. But for now, I think this is a very fun little series. It just gives me a reason to try more foods and also explore it with you and give my honest feedback on it. So hey guys, if you did enjoy this video, then please make sure you hit the like button, make sure you're subscribed, and make sure to check out all my other videos as well. I am a real fan of K-pop videos, for example, and I love reviewing them. So make sure to check them out as well and see what we can learn together. But let me just say something. My stomach is full. I'm ready to enjoy my day even more today. And let's not waste any more time. And let's keep on. Thank you very much. And see you on the next video.